Val Lehman played the top dog on Prisoner, and behind the scenes she was also a top negotiator, making sure that all these years later she's still making money out of the hit TV show. But on the eve of a reunion party, her royalty fees are now creating quite a fuss with her former cast members.
Oh, what a Barney, and not just in front of the cameras.
We didn't get very much money. It was a very poorly paid job, and we didn't even get residuals.
Carol Byrne didn't get any.
Don't give the game away.
But Val Lehman and her manager did.
We will be paid some residuals for this showing, which is very nice, thank you very much, and that's the way it ought to be. But for women of my age in this country, there's very, very little work.
And Elizabeth Ballantyne is sick of Val bragging about it.
Every time we do anything, or she does it, she tells you.
Well, the sort of infighting and backstabbing that you saw on Prisoner on television is really nothing to what was happening in the green room.
Who'd have thought
Okay, you old bitch-handed
that 30 years on, Australia and the world would still be fascinated by the cult Aussie television series Prisoner.
Isn't it about time you made a move?
"16 women and 2 men, all of them misfits, locked up together.
Lynn Warner. Lynn or Lynette? Lynette.
It took us into a world far removed from our own, generating DVDs and TV reruns on every continent around the globe.
I'm still stunned that today people still love it, recognise it, still want to watch DVDs, all that sort of thing. It amazes me.
But only Val Lehman knew way back in 1979 when she signed up that it had a future and she could make a buck out of those reruns and memorabilia. Entertainment reporter Peter Ford.
When the cast of the show were signed up, the contracts in Australia for actors on TV shows were still pretty vague. They didn't really have a lot of clauses and conditions in them. And one of those conditions that people now have as standard has to do with replays and royalties. And Val's agent was clever enough to make sure that she was getting money forevermore from all repeats of the show.
You should be rewarded for that.
Well, yes, you should. Any actor whose work is being used and screened and put in front of an audience deserves to be paid for it.
It's a far cry from how you arrived at prison last time, isn't it, darling?
It is indeed, darling.
Whenever they're relaunching the show, this time for pay TV, the cast comes together.
You were like the bullying lesbian on there, or...?
Well, yes, I was the first...
I felt uncomfortable telling you that,
I was
actually.
the first called icon on television.
Frankie, actor Carol Burns, is not as tough as she once was, but she still recalls her memorable line.
Vinegar tits, which went along with an appropriate gesture.
But it was the lousy pay and no royalties that forced her to want out.
That I said, please, shoot me now. That was the way I wanted to leave the series. I didn't want them to be able to lure me back afterwards.
Val, who played the lesbian ringleader B. Smith, wants Prisoner to go on forever.
Good fun to play too. Never wrong, always right, and totally invincible.
She herself has organised various events which have been profit-making for her, and she's been quite happy to milk the character of B. Smith.
But now it appears there may be some bitterness about her good deal all those years ago. The invitations went out long ago for the next Prisoner reunion in Melbourne later in the year. Val seemed to have been lost in the mail, but late today, after that news got around, guess what? She was sent one.
The story will be good. You'll like the story. You'll like the story, I promise.
You jerk.
She might be a nasty bitch, but she's got a good mind for business.
You'll say you just fell over.